Hey everybody, welcome to Endurance Sports University. This is the real quick version of racing and training with the power meter. Why is it important for you to have a power meter? A little bit about me. My name is Ryan Reel, founder and head coach of Endurance Sports University, USAT Level 2 coach, master's degree in exercise physiology, biomechanics, USA Triathlon High Performance Team head coach and team director since 2011. That's a little bit about me. Let's get into racing and training with the power meter and why it's important for you as an athlete. So a power meter, device that's put on the bike that measures the amount of power in watts that you're producing every time you push down on the pedal. PowerTap and Garmin, two of the most solid brands out there. All right, what's power? What are watts, right? It's the most accurate way to measure the current level of effort that's being put forth by the athlete. Right? It is an instantaneous reading of the force being applied to the pedals while the athlete is cycling. Very simple, very straightforward. And best part, a watt's a watt. Doesn't matter about terrain, weather, nutrition, or hydration. It measures the amount of power you are transferring to the pedal. Uphill, downhill, with, against the wind, hydrated, dehydrated, 110 degrees or 52 degrees. A watt is a watt. Why do you care? Right? You care because the following metrics: functional threshold power, it's your power output at lactate threshold. Normalized power, the closest measurement to how hard the ride actually was by removing the highs and the lows. So it's an even, constant pedaling measurement. That's a gold standard right there, normalized power. Number 3, variability index. It's pacing. So it's comparing normalized power to average power. Were you riding steadily or were you erratic? Were you all over the place? Accelerate, decelerate, right? That's a great metric, especially for triathletes. Intensity factor, second most important metric on here, and quite frankly, I can make an argument it's the most important. It is normalized power divided by FTP. So it's going to tell us how hard the ride was using normalized power, which is the best estimation of how hard a ride was, divided by your FTP, which is your current athletic ability. This is an outstanding number. It's going to allow you to compare your ride against somebody else's ride, whether it's a guy or a gal, whether they are stronger or weaker. You can tell who worked harder. The last one, most important, training stress score, TSS. All those top 4 metrics generate training stress scores representing the training load, the actual training load that a session is putting on you. So it's an interplay of duration and intensity. It takes everything on this slide into account, gives us training stress score. All of this, the FTP, normalized power, VI, and intensity factor generates training stress score, tells us what the training load for any given session is. That's a very important number. Why is it cool? Why is it useful to you? Reason number 1, you can use it to help develop a race plan, to test it, know you can execute it, and train to execute it also. It is outstanding. It is pretty much legalized cheating when it comes to pacing and long course events, half and full Ironman. The people that end up on the podium, 99% of them have a power meter. They understand this, or they have a coach that understands it. Reason number 2, training stress score can be used to determine your levels of fatigue, your levels of fitness, and how race ready are you. Are those 3 things you want to know? Yes, absolutely. If you don't know those, you're working out, not training. All right, so the best part, we can use this to determine not only your race plan, but future training to make sure we're getting the most out of your time and every single training session. How does that sound? It probably sounds pretty darn good. If it doesn't, you're a casual triathlete, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you might or might not be getting the most out of your time. And if you have a family, if you have friends, if you have things you like to go do other than swimming, biking, and running, things that you have to do other than swimming, biking, and running, this is going to make sure you get the most out of your time. This is what has the ability to get you back to your family or your friends faster. All right, so what does that all lead to? Acute training load. It's used to determine fatigue, right? It's a 7-day rolling average of training stress scores. Chronic training load, used to determine fitness. 42-day rolling average of weighted TSS scores. All of that, right? So fitness, it's in terms of athletic performance based off of the specific race and the type and distance, and it's going to allow you to perform at the greatest ability that you can. So remember, race readiness or form or training stress balance is your CTL or fitness numbers minus your ATL or your fatigue. That's going to let us take every single training session, see what the impact is on you, and determine how race ready you are. When it comes time to taper, we know how much fatigue is on your system. We can see it, we can control the reduction of it, and make sure that you're completely ready for race day. All right, form is used to determine the race readiness. The performance management chart is generated from everything that we've seen here. So what you see, real quick, red line, that's fatigue. Blue line, fitness. Yellow line, race readiness. This right here is about a week before an Ironman race. What it's predicting is when we're going to cross over, we've reduced fatigue to the point that we are now race ready, well up above 0. Ultimately hitting race day somewhere right around this area right here. This can manage your taper. This can make all the difference. A well-managed taper can give you up to a 3% increase in performance. And if you don't think that's important, determine what 3% of 6 hours is and see if you'd rather ride closer to 5:45 than 6 hours. All right, super simple. So this is great for cycling, but you have to swim and run also. Yep, I got you covered. We can account for that. All right, swimming TSS and running TSS, same thing as the bike. It determines the training load of using the interplay of duration and intensity. Swimming TSS, running TSS can all be generated or calculated from the data collected from a Garmin 920 or the 910 or any other watch that has a GPS device and can be used in the pool, right? So, good news and bad news with that. Good news is TSS is the cutting edge of science when it comes to quantifying training load. If you want the best, this is it. If you're new to triathlon, this saves your time. This gets you back to family and friends and doing other fun things on the weekend instead of being a zombie walking around going, I wonder if I did enough training. Bad news, not all training stress scores are created equal, right? So a 1 hour all-out run, I think everybody would agree, is a far more demanding event than a 1 hour all-out ride, which is a definitely harder event than a 1 hour all-out swim. All right, so the running TSS scores put more fatigue on your system than does the bike. The bike definitely does than the swim. So keep that in mind. Good news, bad news. All right, so that's a lot of info. Why should you care? Because if you have a coach who understands the science, understands what I've shown you, they can manage your training from day to day, week to week, training block to training block to ensure that you are as prepared as possible and that your taper goes perfectly on race day. It removes all the guessing. There is no more guessing. I wonder if I've done enough. Should I do more? Do I need to go harder? Do I need to go easier? It removes it all. We know it. We got it. We got you covered. All right. So it sounds great, right? But what if you're not sure about the investment? All right. Normal power meters are going to be $700, $800 just to get into one new. All right. They go up from there. Is that worth the investment? Well, you know, it might be or it might not. But let me tell you how strongly we at Endurance Sports believe in this. We believe in racing and training with power so strongly, we're going to put our money where our mouth is. All right, ready for this? You sign up for 12 months of coaching. You make the commitment to yourself, to your training, to your racing, to achieving your goals. Right? We are here to help you. You make that commitment, we're going to give you a free power meter. Right? Whether it's a power tap or a severely discounted Garmin or whatever it may be, we will get a power meter into your hands if you make this commitment. We will match your commitment. We want to see you succeed. All right, so you're ready to get started? You got a couple different options. Give us a call, right? 877-375-3634 or go to EnduranceSportsUniversity.com. You're going to find down right underneath that head banner, there's going to be a box down there that's going to tell you about a free power meter. Click it, get the info, fill in the web form. If you're watching this video on an ESU webpage, somewhere else on this page, there's a web form. Fill it in, submit it. We'll get in touch with you in the next 24 to 48 hours. We'll get you set up. We'll get you crushing the bike and achieving your goals. All right, guys and gals, hope to talk to you soon. Take care.